Get. And guys, first, you see that we have a special guest. Her name is Amy Edge. She is actually a business efficient strategist. Did I say that right?
Efficiency strategist, yep.
Yeah. So the cool way that me and Amy actually know each other is my coach, I reached out to her and I was like, girl, I feel like I am just on like stress overload. I feel like I have so much to do. I'm wasting so much time on these graphics, trying to make them look cute, and I'm failing miserably. I need to get my emails organized and I just don't know where to start because I'm not business savvy or internet savvy in the slightest. And she's like, girl, you need to talk to Amy Edge right away. So the first thing I did was I went and I creeped on her website and I'm like, man, this girl is like legit. She knows so much stuff. Then I sent her an email and she was just so down to earth and she just got me right out of the get-go. She got my personality, how I'd like things, just I don't know. Whenever I say that Amy really helped me find my jam, she really did. She really helped me come up with systems for my business that just kind of streamlines everything, and she makes my personality come to life with the graphics and in my website. I gave her all the content for my website and she designed it, and I'm obsessed with it. So that's a little bit about Amy and me and our relationship. She's a freaking rock star. And now today she is going to really help us just simplify our social media. And Amy, I have to let you know, that's one of the main things with my coaches that I feel like we just stress about, because I feel like we forget that we are actual human beings and we're not Beachbody, and we are each individually our own brand. And it's so hard, especially when you board on new coaches, to really teach them that concept. Like, just don't be posting your shake, and like really come up with things that are true to you to really help bring those people into your social media. Those are the people that you're really going to vibe with. So I am so excited to hear everything that you have to say.
So just to kind of start out, I am like a scrambled mess. Just going to be real, like hashtag real life here for you guys. I have notes written. Normally I have slides prepared, and so I'm going to be reading off of like written notes and whatnot to kind of like keep us on track. But this is going to be a little bit different than when I'm on other team calls. I'm going to ask you questions, and I'd really love it if you guys kind of like chime in, because I want this to be as interactive as possible, and that allows you to really like ask me the questions and like dive deep into that workbook that I sent you guys, because that really outlines everything that I do when I'm creating a social media strategy for one of my clients. So I'm going to share my screen, and it's just going to be the workbook, but we can kind of chat about different things as we go through it. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat or just like jump in.
Sounds good. Just unmute yourself, ladies.
So let's see. Okay. Did everyone get the workbook that I got emailed to you guys?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. If not, later tonight I'll be sending another email with a copy of this, and then you'll have like some bonus social media graphics and 30-day content planner and some other like really cool things that I typically give my social media clients that I'm just gonna like hand out to you guys, and you can use them as you see fit, and hopefully they're beneficial for you. So I'm gonna guide you through the workbook and just kind of like talk through the basic overview, and I'm gonna provide like suggestions as if I was creating this imaginary coach that is getting ready to start on social media. So it's gonna be like a new coach, not someone that's like super known, not a top 10 coach or anything like that, somebody just like you. So first, I want to just start with telling you why you need a social media strategy. So the main goal of having a social media strategy is that once you kind of create the framework, it's going to be plug and go. You're going to be able to be more efficient and less time consuming. So you're going to put that time investment in up front, but in 2 months down the road, when you have that system, you're going to hopefully only be spending an hour a week planning and scheduling and engaging on your social media, because that's where the biggest part of your time should be each week, is engaging. Never forget that. That is the reason why we have social media, to be social, to build our tribe. And we're also going to kind of go over how to post with purpose. So I want you to kind of like, you don't have to tell me your answers to these questions, but just kind of like answer them yourselves, think about them. According to what you're doing right now in social media, are you posting for the sake of posting? Are you posting just because you know I have to post 2 to 3 times a day? Are you posting without knowing what your audience wants to see? If you've never polled them, if you've never asked them, if you don't know exactly what they want, what are you posting for? And are you even posting on social media when your audience isn't even around? So if you wake up every morning at 6 a.m. and you're posting and your audience isn't on Instagram at 6 a.m., you're probably not going to reach your audience. You need to be posting about 30 minutes before you think your audience is going to be online. So if you're not getting like clicks or views or comments or any engagement, you're probably doing something wrong, but we're going to fix and figure out exactly what it is. So I'm going to give you like general overviews. If you have like more specific questions regarding social media, I'll put my email, or you guys should all have my email. Just send me an email and be like, hey, just have this one specific question. Just send me an email and I'll look at it and I'll kind of give you what I think your best bet is to go forward, okay? So first, we're going to assess what are your social media goals, because if you're just winging it and you don't really have a goal, then what's the point? You're just going to like fly by the seat of your pants, and you don't do that in your business. You don't do that to get Success Club points, and you don't do it in your health and fitness journey. So you shouldn't do it on social media either. So you really want to think, what are your 3 goals that you want your social media marketing to do? Because you are marketing who you are to potential customers, to potential new coaches, to whoever it is. So they need to be actionable, specific, attainable, and measurable. So if I were to suggest 3 specific goals for like a new coach, these are 3 that I would suggest. You would want to build your visibility. That means posting more often. 2, create and establish the like, know, and trust factor, because no one's going to buy anything from you if they don't like you, they don't trust what you're going to say, and they don't know who you are. And that means that they're going to have to see you and interact with you way more than like a handful of times. And 3, you want to increase your engagement by building connections in order to grow your sales, in order to get Success Club points, in order to sign new coaches up on your team. The main point there is connection. So does anyone want to tell me like one of their main goals for social media is? Or something that resonates with them?
Mine is always, I want to make sure that I'm someone that I add value, that I feel like the social media world is so full of nothing but negativity. I want people to come to my page and be like, Jess is bright. Like, I want to go to Jess's page if I just need to read something positive. And I don't know, for some reason that just really always stands out to me in my personality.
So I think that you hit on 2 points. One, that's definitely a goal. You want to make sure that you're always adding value. The second thing that we'll get on later on is you mentioned how you want somebody to feel. So as soon as they come to your page, you want them to feel like positive energy. You don't want them to feel like negative thoughts and feelings. So that's important that you're also putting that into your goal. So I really like that. So go ahead. If you printed this out, you can jot down your 3 goals, or you can come back to it later. We're going to talk about what platform should you be on. On this workbook, I kind of broke down like each platform and gave you like a little bit of a description. I'm not going to go through all of that because I feel like, you know, everyone can read and kind of figure out exactly what they think. But I want to just kind of tell you that there is no simple answer to this. Like what Kara wants social media platforms is not going to be the same as Rachel's, plain and simple, because her audience might be different. So just kind of like read through it and figure out exactly who you're targeting and where you should focus. But if I was consulting on a brand new coach who doesn't necessarily have a defined audience, this is what I would suggest. Instagram, Facebook business page, and a Facebook personal page. Now, this is kind of tricky because Facebook actually does not allow you, or it's against their terms of service, to run your business on a personal page. So you can kind of get around this just by making sure that you're not always doing sales posts, like sales graphics, or Beachbody's having a sale on Energize. If you're making your posts how they should be, which is authentic and vulnerable, and you're speaking to pain points and objections, then you should be fine. But those are the 3 things that I would definitely suggest focusing on if I was talking to a new coach. And another thing that I should focus on, I know that Jessica has a website. So if you have a website, you should definitely be on Pinterest, no matter what. So, and we can talk about that at another time, Jessica. It's scary. Pinterest is a scary thing, but it's more of a search engine than a social media platform. So it's kind of like, it's kind of scary. So you can go ahead and write down at least 2 platforms that you want to focus on. So in order to kind of improve your social media, you need to know where you're lacking. Where do you just suck at social media? And that's where a mini social media audit comes into play. Now, this is just a kind of a very mini audit that I would do on somebody else's social media account. So I'm just going to kind of like go through it so we can just take a quick look. So if you're focusing, for this instance, Instagram and Facebook, are your usernames pretty consistent? Is there like maybe a dot or a dash that separates them? Are you using the same profile photo on each of your platforms? Is your bio complete? Do you have a clean cover photo that represents who you are, what you do, and possibly have a call to action, like a click here or something like that? Instagram, I know some people do not have business Instagrams. If you don't, you really should get one, because there's a lot of additional things that you can get, like your insights, knowing the best time to post, what posts are performing the best. Are you utilizing hashtags? And are you utilizing as like 30 of them? Because that's like, you have the advantage of using 30. Why aren't you doing it? You're going to be so much more visible if you use all 30. Are you using Linktree, or have like a standalone page on your website that you can tell people to go to? Like, click the link in my bio. If you have Linktree, you can link to your form, like your Google form to fill out for a survey, or to go like to coach questionnaire or something along those lines, or to go to your Facebook page or to friend you. There's so many other options, but Instagram only gives you one link, so use Linktree so that they have other options for that call to action.
Super simple too to start up.
Yes, so simple. It'll take like 5 minutes, and it's free, so that's even better. I love free things. So, and Facebook business page and personal page. One of the biggest things that I see, and I don't know if Jessica has it, let's find out, is, are you,
Jessica,
your business page to your personal account? I don't know if it'll load. So I think that you have. So you'll see, a lot of times if you have a business page and it's not linked, no one's gonna find you. So right here, she has hers linked. Health and Wellness Coach at Jessica Brown. Actually, you don't. Oh, look at that, Jessica. So you have it linked, but it doesn't go to your like page. So you have something here but it doesn't go to your like page. So we've got to fix that for you.
Yeah, I definitely have a like page.
Yeah, you definitely have it. It's just not there. So we need, write that on your to-do list so you can email me. So that is very important. If you don't know how to do that, you can go to your page and then just click this little edit button, and then it pops up and you just put your information in. Super simple. All right, so after you've kind of like gone through that, what we want to do is analyze like the content that you've currently put out there. So you're going to look at stuff that you've already posted, and you're going to figure out what's worked and what's not worked. So these are the sort of questions you're going to ask, and you're going to do it for each of your platforms that you're on, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. What type of content has generated the most likes? What type of content has generated the most comments? How often are you posting? And then list the top 3 posts from the last month. What do they have in common? If you have Instagram for business, go to your insights. It'll make things much easier for you. If you have a Facebook business page, go to your insights. It'll make things much easier for you as well. And I will send you, I have kind of like a, oh, it's not pulling up. I have descriptions on how to do it that I'll include in the email that I send you. I can't get it to pull up right now. So we're gonna, if you don't have business accounts, you kind of have to do it the hard way. So let's look at Jessica's Instagram page. I like to do it on the computer because I can easily scroll over and I can see, you know, quick glance what's going on. So we're just gonna do something quick. So I'm scrolling over here. That doesn't look like it's performing. This does. Okay, so this seems to be like a really good post for Jessica. She posted it 2 days ago, so it's still probably in the algorithm. It's probably still going to pick up some additional things. So you would write down, Jessica, what was yesterday's, 2 days ago? That's 2/25. Type of picture, what it's about, and you did use some hashtags. You could have used more hashtags, I think, but I think because these hashtags that you used are very specific, Children's Place, LuLaRoe, Mommy and Me, American Eagle, those are what's helping it pick up. But you could have used more, I think. So I would definitely put that down. And I would just keep going down and seeing what is and is not working. Okay, so now you have a lot more. You have Victoria's Secret, Mom Life, all of these other things. So you would just keep going down and check the date and figure out exactly which content is working, which one is not. So in comparison to Mommy and Daughter, this one is not doing well. It doesn't look like your graphics are doing as well as a personal picture. So that would just be like a very general assessment that I would do. So that might mean that you might want to do less graphics and more pictures of you or more pictures of your family as you go through. Okay. How often are you posting? List those tops. So those are all the things that you're going to want to do. It will take much longer for you to kind of go through that than we probably all want to sit here and do. But you're going to do that for all of your content. And then you're going to be able to, right here, check out this. This is going to be the most important piece of each of your platforms, figuring out what the commonality between all of them are, because that's what you want to post more of. That's what your audience wants. So something else that's really fun is to analyze your competitors. Has anyone ever actually sat down and like analyzed somebody else's content and feed? It's hard because you're like, oh man, they're doing so awesome. I love their feed. Like you can kind of get like that imposter syndrome where you're like, oh, why am I not doing this? Like, what's wrong? Like yada, yada, yada. But don't get into that. You're using your competitors as a way to build upon your following. And it's always good to kind of have an eye on those influencers, because the more that you comment on other influencers, the people that follow those they'll be like, oh, she posted something really valuable. Let me click over to her profile. So that should be something that you kind of think about doing on a regular basis when you're on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you spend the most time. It should be part of your engagement strategy. Don't just focus on who's posting on your account. Go out there in your audience and find where they're following and engage on those accounts. So when you're analyzing your competitors, I really urge you to try and look outside of the Beachbody world. So there are tons of Beachbody coaches, but there's also tons of other health and fitness coaches out there. Use that as a basis to analyze what they're doing, because you kind of already know what another Beachbody coach is doing. See what somebody else is doing. You could do like health and wellness, self-care, yoga, kind of like whatever your style is. Does anybody have like an Instagram competitor or somebody they want me to look at really fast? If they know someone off the top of their head.
All of mine are Beachbody coaches.
Okay, we can do that still. Do you know their handle?
I have a few. Yeah, Chelsea Pearson.
Is it?
Yep, right there.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, I just start at the beginning. Typically I look at their stories because stories are just where it's at. But I love looking at their stories, but it comes up really weird on the computer. So let's just look at her bio really fast. We know it right off the bat what she focuses her business on: fitness, motivation, faith, life, and style. So that's what we should expect when we're looking at her Instagram feed. And then she does have a link. Okay, so I'm just gonna scroll over and look and see what she's doing. So as you can see, they're mostly all pictures of her. They're all very like high resolution. Let's click this one because it's not doing as well. So something very quick, and what she's doing here on this one is she's asking for people to engage with her. She asked a very simple question, and she's wanting a response from them. So that's easy. It's a very quick way to get engagement because people always love to tell you what their opinion is, no matter what. So let's see if she's actually using any hashtags, because that's always a good way to figure out which hashtags you should be using. So she doesn't, but this is something that I would definitely put down on your content strategy, and we'll get there eventually. But to look at what she says, if you're on Instagram and you love what she's doing, save it by clicking the little thing, and you can like add them to collections, and it just gives you more ideas when you go to create your content. So let's scroll down some more. Oh, so she does have some graphics, and it seems to be working. But is this somebody that you, Jessica, that you would say your audience is very similar, or just somebody that you really like?
I like how she carries herself. I like the fact that she doesn't feel like she has to post a workout selfie every single day, but people still get the fact that she's a health and fitness coach. I was a huge fan, and I mean, I still am, of Melanie Mitro, and I feel like I know her brand so well that I really just wanted to start branching out and see what other top coaches were doing. So for me, it was really researching the top of the top: Melanie Mitro, Amy Silverman, and whenever I got to Chelsea, I just felt like I knew her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, what you can see is from all of these pictures that we've kind of looked at, they've all hit one of these categories. So these are probably like her content categories. And she's like, if I'm posting, it's better be about fitness. It better inspire somebody. It better have to do with her faith, her regular life, which is probably showing her and her husband, and fashion, style. So that's something that you could really like create when you're doing your content for social media. Pick out like the five tier things that you think would really resonate with your audience, and mention that. And I think you're on the right track, because that picture of you and your daughter did so well in comparison to the rest of the photos that we looked at.
And I think too, it might be my time, because those quotes I usually post at like 4:50 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think anyone's probably, if they're up at 4:50 in the morning, they probably haven't had coffee. They're probably shuffling to get their kids out the door, or they're working out like you're probably getting ready to, or they're just crazy. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I wish I could get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and be that motivated, but that is probably your time. I would encourage you tomorrow, don't post it at 4:50. Post it at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. after probably people have already shuffled their kids out the door. They could probably are on the road to work, probably scrolling Instagram as they're driving because, people are crazy. Or they're sitting at their desk drinking their coffee because they don't want to work. So that might be a good time. Do you have a business account on your Instagram?
I do.
Okay, so that would be another thing to really look at. I would investigate all week, try different times, but do like the same sort of white graphic with black words. Try all different times. At the end of the week, check your insights and see what it says.
Okay.
That's what I would do. And I mean, everyone can do that. Not just Jessica, everyone. I would definitely try. It's always going to be trial by error. So you're going to try something. It's going to work for a little bit. Next month, you might have to try something again because that's just how social media is. That's just how people are. We all have something different. Mm-hmm. So as you go to your person that you're going to analyze, so Chelsea, you would put her Instagram name. You'd search all of her social media that she has because you're going to get a very well-rounded perspective on who her Instagram, her social media following is. Take notes on what you like, what type of content they're posting, what type of hashtags. It doesn't look like Chelsea's using any, but that's probably because she doesn't have to, because she has 50,000 followers. So I would use her, but I would also find somebody that has a lower amount, very maybe 10K, someone that's still building their following. Analyze people at different parts of their business or social media following, just to kind of get a better idea. Jot down what do you love and what do you not like, because you're not going to love everything. You're going to love some of it. You're going to think she can probably do something a little bit better, and then fill out all of this. And once you do at least 3 people, you're going to get a better understanding of how to move forward in your business and your social media. So there's 3. I think there's 3. There might be 5 of these. I don't remember how many I made. So let's just kind of chat about finding your voice, because this is part of what your competitor stands out for them, is how they're talking in their social media. Are they talking like they're friends with whoever's reading, or they're too uptight and it's perfect grammar and it doesn't look like a real person? When I started working, granted I'm not a Beachbody coach, but I did build my business from the ground up, so I have that similarity with you guys. When I started on social media, I was like, I have to be perfect. Everything has to be professional. I have to dot my I's, cross my T's. Everything has to be perfect. That is not me. And my social media did not grow for at least 6 months because I just tried to fit in the box. I wanted to do everything right. That's not going to work. It didn't work for me, and it's not going to work for you. If you have a misspelled word, screw it. Oh, well, it happens. You're not going to be perfect. But you need to word how you feel on your social media so that you're finding your voice and it sticks with whoever reads it. When somebody comes up, when I read Jessica's, granted I talk to her a lot through email and whatnot, but when I read hers, in my head, I can hear Jessica's voice saying it. So that's exactly what you need to have for your audience. It doesn't matter if you only have 100 people following you or 50K. When they're reading what you write, they should hear you in their head. So just kind of go through these and describe what your voice is and describe what your voice is not. So Here's some examples to kind of get you started. Is your voice going to be funny, flirty, educational, informational, inspiring, conversational, helpful, elegant, classic, hip, youthful? Are you going to use the word girl? Are you going to use the word babe? Are you going to use the word lovely? Are you going to use the word dear ones? What are you going to use? Figure it out, make it consistent, and use it. Like, own it. Like, own your crazy. Like, own your mess. Like, really just do it. Like, you need that in your business. You need it when you're talking to like a potential client or a customer on the phone. If you're doing Zoom, like, show that you're crazy, like I'm doing right now, guys. Like, seriously, it will work in your favor, I promise. So something that we kind of touched on earlier is when someone lands on your social media account, how do you want them to feel? What do you want them, like, what's that gut reaction that you want them to have? Really kind of think about that, because that's going to be part of how your voice comes out. Are you just going to be like so real and like just so vulnerable and express those like those tough situations that you're having every day? Like, I just the other day I wrote, like, what am I supposed to do? I've had wine, I've cried, I have to pack this damn house. What am I supposed to do? Like, you have to like really like dig deep. If your 3-year-old, like mine, is just acting like a crazy person, you cannot get your workout in. They're holding onto your leg. Like, you cannot cook dinner. You have to share those like silly, crazy, realistic moments, because that's how people are going to relate to you. And I know you guys already know that, and that you guys have been told that before. I just want to make sure like you guys understand that's how your social media should come out. Your stories, like, show you're crazy. Just do it. It's going to really benefit you. So like, this is just a silly question, but it's something that you can easily make into like a social media post. When there's no food in your fridge, what do you want to do? Like, that's me right now. What do you want to do? Are you going to order pizza? Are you just going to like lick the floor? I don't care. Just do it. Like, what are you going to do? Really, like, you have to kind of like dig deep into like the silly questions, because they're going to affect your overall voice. If you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? What would it be? Because that's going to show a lot of like, maybe you want to feature donuts every once in a while because that's like your favorite food. Maybe it's hot dogs. I don't know. But maybe you want to add that to your social media because people can relate to those things. List the 5 things that your business values and why. And I wrote business and not you. And I want you to understand that your business values and your personal values are not the same. So really think about that, because your business is serving other people. So really kind of like dig deep and answer that. And why is your business important? Don't kind of like go to the cookie cutter example and say, my business is important because I inspire other people and help them get on their health and fitness journey, and they can go from like 300 pounds to 120 pounds. That's not why your business is important. It's really not. How do you make those people feel? What's the journey that you take them on from when they start today to 2 years down the road? How is that journey affecting them? That's why your business is important. Or if you think of when you bring on a new coach, when they start, they're probably negative because they probably maybe used a credit card to get their challenge pack to get started. So they're starting from the negative, and now in a year, how far did they progress? Why is that important? Use those kind of scenarios to figure out exactly why your business is important. Once you kind of understand all of those, it will affect your voice so that you're not pretending to be something that you're not. You're really like honing into how you feel and how you want others to feel. Okay, so define your audience. I'm not really going to go over this because I feel like everyone's already taken like who's your audience, what's your avatar. I do want you to go through this by yourself and just kind of jot it down and understand that just because you might have defined your audience 6 months ago or a year doesn't mean it's the same. You should really take the time every year to go back through this, because as you change and your business change, who you target is going to change. So just kind of keep that in the back of your head and go through that. And then just write down like just a brief profile and overview. Now, developing your content strategy. We've talked about a lot of like nooks and cranny, but there's really no social media presence unless you have content for it, right? So there's different types of content that you can write. And there's a whole bunch that I really like went through, but I have been conducting some very informal research for you guys. And I say informal because I've used my own account and like some of my other clients who did give me permission to kind of like figure out what's working right now, meaning like in the past 30 days. So I want to tell you that you won't get this anywhere else, I promise. So if you're on Instagram, I hope you're doing stories. I have found that between 8 and 9 stories per day spread out is what's most beneficial. That gets the average highest views. So I took like over a span of time when we did 8 to 9 stories, views on each, and I divided it by 9 and I got my average. So that is on average what's working the best right now according to views. And for that, we did like a combination of videos where you're talking about, you know, what's going on, the kids screaming in the background, photos, those silly like boomerang ones when you're like jumping up and down. So all of those were included in the stories. So we also did in the stories, which worked really well. And if you're on Instagram, I'm sure you are familiar with the polls. So the polls and questions in general is what's going to boost your engagement. And boosting your engagement is ultimately how you win, like at the algorithm, like game. Because it's a game pretty much with Instagram and Facebook. You have to get up in the feed according to their algorithm. And the best way to do that is to have engagement on your posts. So any open-ended questions. So it doesn't have to relate. Like, don't make it relate to health and fitness or your coaching journey. Just make it relatable to where you are and what you're doing in real life. So a question you could ask is, what time does your little one go to bed? What's your toddler's favorite food? What is on your meal plan for tonight? What is your favorite color? What's your song that you want to listen to on your workout playlist, or the song that is getting you, that you're listening to while you pick up your toddler in the preschool line? So the important part of these questions is that it's very simple. They don't have to put in a lot of thought. They can simply say, my favorite color is blue. There you go. People are going to be more apt to give their response when it's simple, quick, or they can give you their opinion, which is very tricky because everyone, and we all know this, everyone has an opinion about everything. So ask something that's so simple. What's your favorite hair dryer? I need to go buy one. Like, where can I get a new trash can because my dog just obliterated mine? Ask opinions. Like, what's your opinion about the Super Bowl halftime show? People want to give opinions, and it's easier to get people to answer and give opinions than to do a post that's like 3 paragraphs. Some people will read it, but they're not going to necessarily engage on it. Mm-hmm. So I'm just giving you general what has happened in the past 30 days. So your audience might want to read that much if it's a very vulnerable post where you're really getting down to the nitty-gritty. But if you're not, you're probably going to be more apt to getting responses and engagements on those. So if you're on Instagram, you can easily create a poll for that. And you have like 1 million responses. Like, what's your favorite song while you're listening, that you're listening to on your playlist? Option A could be, I don't know, I don't really listen to music as much. The song that Jessica was playing earlier, the song that Kara was playing earlier, I don't know. Yeah, whatever it was. So you do one poll and then go to another one, different options. So you can use the polls in that same sort of ask a question scenario. And something that also really worked well is when we posted something that kind of like had that like gut-wrenching effect. Like it was a question, but it was very like gut-wrenching or like straight to the point, like, why aren't you doing X, Y, Z? So those questions were kind of like, oh, can you guys hear my 3-year-old screaming in the background? They are very like busting out an objection, but don't say like, I want to lose weight, or you don't have time. Like really, like, it's more than I don't have time. It's what they don't feel appreciated. Like, ask that question. Do you not feel appreciated in your life? How could we do that? How would you feel appreciated? So I would sit there and I might not comment on it, but I would say, oh my gosh, like, I really do feel like that. Like, what's going on in my own life? It gives you kind of like a gut reaction.
Makes you think.
It makes you think.
Yeah.
And those are, you might not get engagement, but it's going to really kind of, they're going to come back. We asked a very similar question, and she got probably about 7 messages just because of that one message. And I cannot go into more detail because it was more of a personal question, and that's kind of like part of my confidentiality agreement with my clients. But I want to like encourage you to kind of like think, like, what would give you a gut reaction? What would kind of be like, yeah, somebody punched me in the throat, and like that totally relates to me.
Yeah.
That's because the people that relate to what you post are who you're gonna have a tribe, who you're gonna vibe with. But you can kind of like go through and read more about like the different ideas that you can write for your content. So after you kind of know what you want to post, you know the types of posts, you know the times that you should post, you have to develop a calendar so that you're not posting by the, like, just because. You have a schedule. You know, okay, I'm not going to post my 4 a.m. white thing. I'm going to post it at 8 a.m. So now we're going to create a calendar that has 8 a.m. We're posting to Instagram. We're going to post to Instagram at 12 p.m. We're going to post to Facebook at 5 p.m. You have a calendar. So now you know 3 posts per day times 30 days. That's a lot, right? Because I was not a math major. So creating your calendar. So you can do this a few ways. You can have a printable calendar. So I have, and I'll send you guys the link too, but I love pen and paper. Like, as much as I work on the computer and I'm like sending emails all the time, something about like that old school like pen, paper thing. So I have this fantastic social media planner. It's called the Content Planner. And it is basically just laid out like this. And I have stickers. So it says like Instagram, Facebook, and it just lists out my ideas. So I get this out once a month, and I sit down for an hour, and that's not counting putting the stickers on, but I sit down for an hour and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. These are my ideas. Mondays, I'm going to do quotes. Tuesdays, I'm going to do tips. Thursdays, I'm going to do real life. So those are my content buckets that we've already discussed. And then I sit down and I write, here's my idea, here's my idea, here's my idea. Now I have my idea. I close it up, I'm done for the day. I'm not going to look back at it until I'm ready to sit down and write my content. That's how it works for me. It might not work for you that way. I do a whole month in 2 days, and it takes me probably about 2 to 4 hours because I just want it done. Sometimes I surprise myself and I'm like, oh, I wrote that? I don't even remember writing that. But it works for me. You'll have to find something that works for you. You might need to do it on Sundays and plan it out. That might work for you. You might need to do it every day to make sure that you hit 8, 12, and 5. Whatever works for you. Figure out a calendar and plug it into your calendar to help you stay accountable. So, printable calendar, you could use Trello or Asana if you just love like being on the computer, or Google Sheets. And down here, I'll show you a link to Google Sheets calendar. So when you're planning your content on your calendar, make sure that you're focused on education, inspiration, and curating content. Those should kind of be your tiers of creating the content. You have your content bank, you know what you're gonna do. You're gonna talk about maybe style. You really love style. You really like fashion. Maybe that needs to be part of your tier 2, inspiration, or curating from your community, which just means finding somebody else's content that you're gonna share. That works really well on Facebook because you can easily just hit that share button and go. If you're on Instagram, there's apps that you can use, but I typically just screenshot the picture, and then in my description, I do photo, by, and then tag that person. Always make sure that you give proper content, or not content, credit. So here is a link to, when I used to do it on, plan my content on the computer, I did it in Google Sheets. So if you click that, it'll come up to a very simple calendar that you can use for your own self. Now this is very simple and kind of like laid out, but you'll see that all of the days are listed. You can list your theme. So if your theme is on Mondays, you're gonna post about style, you could easily write style here. And I just have one post for Instagram, planning out my IG stories, and one post for Facebook. If you wanted to do 3 on Instagram, then you would just make additional rows like that and write Instagram. Write in your idea or your post content, and then once you're ready, you have the choice to either scheduling in advance with like Buffer or SmarterQueue or Hootsuite or whatever you use to schedule your content. Or if you're on your phone, go to Google Sheets, copy the content you already wrote, get your picture from your gallery and post it that way. Now, an important thing for me to say, and it's in the directions on the workbook, is this is the master copy here. So if you're going to use Google Sheets, go to File and make a copy, and then just click OK. That way you have your own copy that you can use. And always keep the template here so that you can easily duplicate it by right-clicking and duplicating. So that way you don't have to go back and write the theme and type everything in. So just kind of keep that in mind for future use. Oh man, it took me to the front. I think that I probably covered everything that was in the workbook. Does anybody like have any specific questions that the last thing that was, it was just about scheduling your content. That saves me a ton of time. It takes me maybe an hour to schedule 30 days worth of content. And if I don't do that, then it probably takes me an hour per week to post my content organically. So to me, 4 hours is way more of a time investment than just the 1 hour per month. So you can use like Buffer or Edgar or Sprout, or I use SmarterQueue. It's my favorite. You can read about it like on my blog, on my website if you want to. I didn't want to get into that too much, but if you have like specific questions about that, you can definitely reach out to me.
I was about to say, are any of them free?
So,
'Cause I had post my party or something like that when I used to sell Pampered Chef, and
okay.
it was like a monthly subscription.
So Buffer is free. You
Okay.
can get up to 10 posts per platform for Buffer. For Hootsuite, you can get 30 posts for 3 platforms for free.
Okay.
Those are probably going to be your best bet. There's also Postcron, which if you schedule or have events, if you create events for like whatever's going on, that is the only platform that you can schedule content into, is if you use Postcron. So just kind of like a tidbit there. Postcron, it's only 10 posts per platform. Also, Postcron is really cool. If you have like those, I think that Jessica might have them, like the same graphics each day, like rate your day type things. It's like the same graphic and you post it every day. All you do is have to hit like the duplicate button in Postcron, and then you don't have to do any work. So it literally takes 5 minutes to post 30 graphics. So that's really cool feature about Postcron. But all of the other ones are paid, but you get other options with them too.
Of course.
Yeah. And then if you're doing Instagram, oh, I didn't write this. Hootsuite does post your Instagram content. Like, you just schedule it and it posts to Instagram for you. Whereas like my favorite platform for Instagram for scheduling is Later, but it just prompts me to post it. So I schedule it in Later, and then it like tells me on my phone, ding, ding, your post is ready to be scheduled. But Instagram is rolling out that feature to a lot of other scheduling platforms. It's just going to be a slow process, but Hootsuite does have that availability now.
Okay.
So just in case, that saves you extra time.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any other questions that I can answer regarding this or anything else?
No, that was freaking awesome, Amy.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Not a problem. I'm glad that I wasn't too scatterbrained for you guys.
Nope.
Oh no, and I love it too that we have this to go back off of, because this is something we can reevaluate like once every 6 months. Would you suggest that?
I would definitely do it every 6 months. I typically, for my just plain social media clients, we do quarterly. We do quarterly analysis, audits, and then revamping our strategy, because things can change really quick in social media. I mean, just last week, Instagram said, oh, now you can schedule with Hootsuite. So if you don't do it quarterly, which can be overwhelming if you're like DIYing it yourself, I would definitely do 6 months, and at the very least a year. So kind of like keep that in mind.
Okay.
And I did have one more question.
Okay.
The same picture. Should we put the same profile picture on our Instagram that we have on our Facebook, that we have on our like page?
I would definitely, because if somebody is, it makes you like super, like they know exactly who you are. If you have a similar picture, but it's like the same lighting, you're wearing the same clothes, but let's say in like Facebook, you're looking straight on, and Instagram, you're looking sideways, that would be okay too. But it's like just keeping consistency across the board. It doesn't really affect like who already engages and follows you, but it affects like who can engage and follow with you. Kind of just builds that like know and trust factor a little bit more.
Right. It definitely makes people be able to find you easier too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? I don't want to take up Amy's time, especially if she has a yelling 3-year-old. Let me check the chat box. No.
Is your email somewhere that we can find it if we have questions later?
Yeah, you should. I'll put it in. I'll be sending another email either tonight or tomorrow morning, and that will have another copy of the workbook. I have some, I don't know, it might be 10 or 20 social media graphics for you guys to use. And I suggest, like, if you have a logo, put your logo on it. If you don't have a logo, just put like your name, like the @ symbol and whatever your Instagram name is. There are like for you. Like, you don't have to tag me. They're absolutely yours. No charge or anything, I promise. And a 30-day and 60-day content planner. So it just kind of gives you that many ideas on what to post. Because I know sometimes when you're starting to plan out your content, you're like, what do I post? Like, she gave me kind of these ideas, but I don't know how, like, what to actually say. So it gives you more specific ideas. And there's like a workbook, a printable workbook that lists out like days and like what to post and whatnot. So all of that, I just kind of went through all the stuff that I've created before, and I'm going to link it all up for you guys.
Thank you.
I'll put my email in there, but you can always just hit the reply button and you'll see me, or find me on Facebook and then just message me, whatever works for you.
Awesome.
The awesome girls. Freaking awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
All right, guys, if there's no more questions, we're going to go ahead and let Amy go. I'm sure you're probably going to be getting some emails, so sorry in advance.
Oh, not a problem. Anytime. I will chat with you guys. All right, you guys have a good night.
You
Bye.
too.
Bye.